for the very lady.
So, I want to get into a conversation, man. Let's talk about some real, a conversation about music, right? We just had a real conversation about music, though. So we're gonna continue on with this conversation, right? So remember, we all three of us there when we was on the collab. We had a discussion about Normani. Remember that conversation we had about how they said,
remember that?
Oh, we didn't take. It's not the Aaliyah sample from 1 in a Million. Oh no, we didn't sample that song. Y'all know y'all did. Stop it. Y'all stop doing that. I hope y'all listen. I hope y'all stop saying that. Okay, please, just give it up. So, but yeah, we talked about basically sampling and just like how songs sound similar. But I want to expand on that conversation because now we're in the generation now where it's like, everything is sounding similar. It reminds me of disco. Remember how disco, all disco songs sounded the same. I feel like we're in that era. But nevertheless, it's their era. But I want to expand on the conversation about inspiration versus stealing. Inspiration versus stealing, right? So I want to start. First, I want to say this before we start this. Shout out to Jay Sheree and Tay, collab. I want to go listen to collab episodes. Listen, 17,000 views on that page, by the way. We proud of that. I know that's a little numbers to y'all, but we proud of them 17,000 views on that page. Shout out to them. Shout out to, shout out to all of us. We earned it. We all was on that. So shout out to all of us. So, but y'all can go back, laugh. We cracking jokes. We laugh. We had a good time on that podcast. But yeah. So let's talk. I want to play this clip real quick, and then we'll start this conversation off.
I read somewhere once that Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, he came up to you guys and said that he was actually inspired by the bass line of I Can't Go For That. I was wondering, it's a two-part question. I was wondering if that's true, if there's a little story behind that, and then also just in general, how you guys feel about people sampling the crap out of No Can Do. And I think that's probably the most sampled songs you guys have, and just in general, what your feeling about that is.
Well, it is true. The first part is true. When we were doing the We Are the World session, everybody was talking to everybody else because there was just the artists in the rooms. And Michael came up to me, in conversation, and he goes, "Hey man, I hope you don't mind if I stole No Can Do." and I went, "What do you mean you stole No Can Do?" He says, "Nah, man, I used it for Billie Jean." And I said, "Hey, does it sound like No Can Do to me?"
I was going to say, I've heard Billie Jean a million times. I wouldn't have thought that.
Well, that was in his head because it inspired him. So he was the kind of guy, he said that to me. I thought that was pretty cool that he said that, but to me, that just goes to show you, though. An artist can take something that even they may think is a rip-off or whatever you want to call it, but it's not at all.
Right.
It maybe in the slate, if you really wanted to stretch it a little bit, you could hear the two things together, but anyway, he did say it.
No, that's pretty neat. As opposed to like when Robin Thicke makes Blurred Lines and it sounds exactly like Marvin Gaye.
Yeah,
it sounds exactly. Like,
that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't mean to pick on any individual artist. I guess what I'm saying is, does this moment have a different understanding of what it means to draw inspiration from somebody than, say, a previous moment?
Well, there's one thing to draw inspiration from somebody. There's another thing to steal
ideas. There's a definite line there.
There's a completely different thing,
Have you guys ever had ideas?
Hey, listen, we drew inspiration from the people we listened to as kids.
Of course.
When I listen to Curtis Mayfield, every song I write, I think I'm writing a Curtis Mayfield song.
Right.
Or at least I'm trying. It's not working out.
It's a great goal to have, right?
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm hearing that, and I want it to feel like that. I want to get that same feeling from a new song that I write, the way I felt when I heard that song back in the early '60s. When that. So that's just the way it's the way music has evolved, I guess.
Shout out to HuffPost. Shout out to Hall & Oates for providing that clip. So
Exactly.
so they say that Michael Jackson went up to them during the We Are the World session and said that he was inspired by the bass line. And if y'all don't know what that song is, you know, I can't. If you go look it up, it's Hall & Oates. It's called I Can't Go For That. I think it was called, right?
Can't go for that. Yeah, can't go for that. Yep.
Yeah, Can't Go For That. Right? Classic song. These Hall & Oates are two of the baddest white boys to do it. And I say white boys because they represent our music and the way we do it in a great way. You understand what I'm saying? Being white and having that soul. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they represent it well. You know what I mean? From their perspective and what they did. You know what I mean? That's why I say that. Mm-hmm. And but now I want to get, we're going to talk about the subject we're talking about, but I want to get into the Billie Jean song. Because I don't think I still don't think it. I was halfway there. Like I was 2 years old when Billie Jean came out. It was 1982. I was 2 years old. So I was halfway there, right? But even in being that much, I don't think anybody understands how big this song was. Around that time, they were celebrating the 25th anniversary, I believe, of Motown. Yeah. And Mike debuted not only Billie Jean, but correct me if I'm wrong, I think he also debuted the Moonwalk.
Yep.
Right?
That was it.
Now, let's understand what the Moonwalk and Billie Jean took Michael Jackson to the moon.
Literally.
Literally. He was moonwalking because he was on the moon. That dance and that song took Michael Jackson to another stratosphere.
True.
Now, keep in mind, this is what? The Thriller album? What is this? What album is this? Thriller?
Thriller. Yep.
Okay. Now, understand that Mike won Best R&B Artist for Off the Wall at the Grammys.
Yeah.
Right? Stop me from right? Y'all with me?
Yeah, he won.
Mike was tight. Mike was mad that he won that award. You know why? Because Mike doesn't think of himself as an R&B artist. He's not an R&B artist. He always thought of himself as a pop icon. That's how he always thought of himself. He's not R&B. R&B is for everybody else, not me. I'm Michael Jackson. I'm the king of pop. Elvis had the king of rock and roll. I'm the king of pop. That's how he saw it. So, back to the song, Billie Jean and the Moonwalk. Now, the Moonwalk, Mike didn't invent the moonwalk. I hate to break y'all. I hate to break your heart. Mike did not invent the moonwalk. They was doing the moonwalk on the streets. It was called the backslide. And then the backslide came from a tap dancer, I forget his name, from way back in the day.
Black and white
days. Thank you, Walt. Back in the day, we're talking about 1963. So, no. 55. Somewhere in the 50s. Right? So, Mike has always been he studied. He was James Brown in the flesh. He was James Brown in the flesh. Exactly. He studied James Brown, and he did, because James Brown he wasn't like a traditional dancer. It's not, he did what he felt. He was in the beat. He wasn't that. Yeah, he wasn't that. He danced how he felt. Right? So back to Billie Jean, and back to the so the moonwalk is influenced. So now someone say that he stole it.
Bill Bailey. That's
There you
the
go.
name of the dude out there.
There you go. Appreciate you. So yeah, Bill Bailey. That he was the first one to do the backslide, right? So some people would say that Mike stole it. So let's go into that. Do y'all think that's an influence or is that a steal?
That's. Go ahead, Kenny.
Did he ever come back? Did he ever come out and say, I made the moonwalk. I created it. I came up with it.
I don't think he ever did. I don't think Michael Jackson ever said I created it. But if he didn't do what he did,
he just danced.
I think he did watch that, but I'm saying I think he watched it have been done before. But as far as I don't even know if he called it the moonwalk. If he did, more power to him. All I'm saying, I wouldn't call it stealing because the thing was like no one really knew that. Like when we saw it on TV and then it get performed and everything, like I don't think the world knew for real what it was. Of course, in the culture we knew what it was, but that was black. Like when my sister tell me about it, my parents tell me about it. They were like, when he bust that out, we ain't seen nothing like that on TV before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like,
I
kind of look at it even with the dancing. Like when you were talking about from James Brown to Michael Jackson, that's a real transition from like a passing of the baton.
Right.
That's how I look at it. When you look at Bill Bailey and how he did that dance, that was the 40s. It took another 40 years for that joint to get on TV.
Right.
So I'm saying, go ahead now.
No, I'm about to say, keep in mind though, the moonwalk, the backslide did come on TV on Soul Train.
Right.
Oh man, what's his name from is it Jeff Daniels? Jeff Daniels from the group For the Lover in You. What's the name of the Shalimar, yeah. So the guy
Shalimar.
Yeah, so the guy not Hewitt, but the other guy, I think his name was Jeffrey Daniels, if I'm not mistaken. He used to be on Soul Train before he was in that group. And he was a part of this group called the Electric Boogaloo. Electric Boogaloo were a group of breakdancers on Soul Train. He taught Michael Jackson that dance. Mike called him up, was like, yo, I saw that dance. Can you teach me to dance? So when he's teaching him to dance, Mike called it the moonwalk. But there was already a moonwalk dance. That's that. It's like you go in circles. It looks like you walking on the moon. Like it's just like you kind of. But so you got it like in slow motion. That was the moonwalk. But Mike took that name and called that the moonwalk. Right? So when the world sees it, it's branded something new. Because it came out with a new song. It came out with some glitter socks. Right? And Michael Jackson did it. So it's branded and it's something brand new, right? So I would say that you can't really copyright dances like that, but you do want to give people their props about who actually did it. But at that time, it was just dancing, right? I think that I would say that was definitely influenced.
Yeah.
Like he was just inspired because the way Mike did the moonwalk, and then he coupled off with the whole thing when he's standing on his toes. You understand what I'm saying? Like that was. So he just took the dance and just kind of flipped it.
I know
exactly.
I mean, I'm not. When you think about like all the dancing that he was doing, the Jacksons was out here doing the robot, pop locking and all that kind of stuff. Like when you see the stuff that he was doing, I believe he really got that like from the people. Like at the end of the day, he's like you said, the dude from Soul Train taught him the moonwalk. I think he also like pop locking. He's seeing that from the people.
Yeah.
From us, like from us as a culture. So I feel like he's again taking it and then just And I feel like that's what we should do. Like,
exactly.
I feel like we should do that.
Exactly. That's
Mike added to the culture. That's all he did.
Straight up.
He added to the culture with that.
yeah, he did.
And the thing about it is that what Electric Boogaloo, that group, I'm sure when they saw it, they was like, yo, they probably felt proud because they probably wouldn't have been able to take it to that type of stage. But Mike, once again, Mike studied. He is a student of everything about the culture. Y'all see this light skin, like, you see this pale guy, but he's from Gary, Indiana. He's black as ever. You know what I'm saying? Like he's black. So he from the hood. Mike from the hood.
Could all fight. I don't care what nobody say. That they pops was a ranked fighter.
Right.
I know that they could fight too.
Right, exactly.
They was not soft. Let it be.
Right, exactly. Mike was far from soft. So that's what I'm saying. Like, don't. But he. I think he was inspired. He added to the culture with that dance.